Hello, Fabio Malaspina with Patriots on the Fly. Today I'll show you to tie the Royal Trude. Hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you next week.
Okay, we're gonna tie the Royal Trude on a salmon hook. This is a size 4 Daiichi 2441 salmon hook again. I'm going to use some 6/0 black thread. We're gonna start from the where the return of the eye wire is. I'm gonna lay a base of thread along the hook shank. Always nice to have a base of thread so that materials don't slip around too much. I'm gonna get up to about the where the bend of the hook starts. I'm gonna cut that tag end. I'm gonna make this a little longer. Then I am going to get some golden pheasant tail fibers out of one of these feathers down here. And we're gonna use this material to build a tail for this fly. So I'm gonna grab some fibers from this feather here. I am going to cut them off. So that they stay pretty much aligned. Let me take these two that are a little longer. Not that it matters, but it's gonna make the fly a little nicer if all these tips are aligned. I'm gonna lay these fibers across the hook shank, and I'm gonna let the thread torque bring them up, like so. So now you can see they're pretty much well aligned, which is the result that we want. I'm gonna lay some thread and cover all those bad ends. Okay, I'm gonna trim all these fibers here. Alrighty, then I'm going to build a Peacock herl accent on the back of the fly. I have 4 or 5, 6 fibers right here. I'm gonna cut these. I'm gonna cut the tips so I have a uniform tying point. I'm gonna secure them like that to the base of that tail. Bring my thread forward, back and forward, and I'm gonna palmer the Peacock herl fibers here again to build this little bump accent. You know, you can, if you want, you can twist them like I'm doing here. And I'm gonna use my thread to lock those fibers in place, like so. I can reach in my scissors and cut these off. I'm gonna put these aside. We may use them for the front. We're gonna have to repeat the same thing in the front. I'm gonna bring my thread again to the where that return of the eye is. I'm going to get 2 or 3 inches of this French tinsel, which is in silver. I'm gonna secure this right under the hook shank. And bring it back to about where the those Peacock herl fibers are wound. I'm going to use a little clip to lock that tinsel in place. I'm going to get some, I'm going to bring my thread forward again, my black thread. I'm going to make a whip finish here. We are not going to use the black thread for the moment. I'm going to cut this off, and again I'm going to set this aside because we're going to use it later. So I have some red floss. I'm going to start right here where the return of the eye wire is. I'm going to go again to that base of that peacock herl. I am going to cut this butt end here. And I'm going to use my floss to build a uniform body for this fly. As much as I can. So we want this to be as uniform as possible. Then I'm going to get my whip finisher and lock the floss in place with 2 wraps. I'm going to pull down so it stays in place. Cut that thread off. I'm going to get back our bobbin with the black 6/0 spool. I'm going to lock it in place right up front where that red floss ends. I'm going to get my silver tinsel and I'm going to make some open spiral wraps. Again, to create some more accent for this fly. I'm going to lift it up, go over with my thread a couple of times, and lock that tinsel in place. I'm going to lift it up and cut that tinsel off with my scissors. Then I'm going to get the that peacock herl that we used earlier. I'm going to again cut the tips so we have a uniform tying point. I'm going to secure it with my thread. And I'm going to make another peacock herl accent up front here. I'm going to go with my thread and lock it in place. I can cut the peacock herl butt ends off. You can see I left a lot of room here because we want to build a wing and then we add a collar. So now I'm going to get some calf body hair in white, and we're going to use this material to build the wing. I am going to cut some from the hide, and then I'm going to put into a stacker so we can stack it. So I cut some here. I'm going to remove the short fibers, put into the air stacker. And stack it. Like so. And we want this tail to be to end where the back part of the peacock herl is wound. So I'm going to measure this. I'm going to cut it to that length. I got the air out of the stacker. I'm going to lay them at an angle. I'm going to run that thread between my fingers and then lock that calf body hair in place with some tight wraps, like so. Then I'm going to get an hackle. This is Grizzly. I'm going to get a feather off of it. I'm gonna pull the fibers, the fluffy fibers, off the feather. I am going to secure the stem. I'm going to go over the stem, the back end of the stem. I'm going to reach in with the scissors, make sure that I don't cut my thread. Get my hackle pliers. grab the feather by the tip. I'm going to lift it up, and as I do that, I'm going to start pushing those fibers backwards. And every time I make a turn, I'm going to push them backwards again. I'm going to make about 3 turns. Again, every time I make a turn, I'm going to stroke those fibers back. And then I'm going to secure the tip of that feather. Again, reaching with my scissors. Cut the tip off. And then use my thread to build a nice head for this fly. Like so. I am going to get my whip finisher and whip finish the fly. I can cut that thread off now. So now I am going to pull that fiber there. There's always some fibers that are unruly. Okay. I'm going to get some UV resin. You know, if you have glue, that's fine too. I like the UV resin, always makes it nicer end result. I'm gonna just apply it carefully. I don't want to put any UV resin over that end hackle that we just added for the collar. I'm going to let that UV resin soak in. And then I'm going to use my UV light to cure that UV resin. Like so. As I turn it, I want to make sure that UV resin is cure all around the head of the fly. So, and there you have it. The Royal Trude tied on a salmon hook. I hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next week.